Welcome to Home, Space and Reason, a podcast about creating a home that thrives.
Hi there, I'm Christina Browning, your host. If you know your home could be so much more than it is, I discuss home functionality, aesthetics, and automation. I'm a realtor in Portland, Oregon, and a home functionality coach. I geek out on every subject imaginable regarding your home and yard, challenging you to think of your space differently to get the most out of every square foot. I pose questions for you to think through about your space and your reason. This podcast is all positive, offering you virtual fist bumps and celebrating every win. Remember, there's no such thing as perfect, but you can still aim for your best every day. Join me on social media by searching for the handle Space and Reason. My friend shared a quote with me that just moved me, and I thought I want to do an entire episode just based on this. It reads, "Happiness comes as a result of pleasant experiences. Therefore, happiness is unpredictable and not lasting, whereas joy is inward. It is a steadfast knowing that we can trust things change and get better, that we are loved and looked after. Inward joy defeats discouragement, whereas happiness covers it up. Inward joy is lasting, and happiness is temporary." Isn't that fascinating? We can't figure out who the author is, or I would definitely give them credit. But I love it. Happiness comes as a result of pleasant experiences. Therefore, happiness is unpredictable and not lasting, whereas joy is inward. So fascinating. I saw a creator recently named Payton Sartain, and she has what she calls a dopamine menu, and it's a list of things she loves. She has them on hand to prevent the daily scrolling that winds up putting negative thoughts, images, and content in front of her on the regular. What a genius idea, Payton. She completed 1 month of doing a hobby every day, which no judgment from me, but it sounds like she probably doesn't have kids, and that can change the equation of how much time you even have for yourself, if any, but it's still a fabulous idea no matter how you make it work for you in your life. I think it would be a delightful idea to have a party with a few of your closest friends with the intent of making your own dopamine menus. A dopamine party? Come as you are, comfies and no makeup required. How fun. Here's a list of suggestions to get your hamster going in making your own dopamine menu. Number 1, make a specialty hot drink. Tea or pumpkin spice or cocoa, something that isn't ordinary for you. Or if all you have time for is an ordinary thing, that is better than a poke in the eye. Number 2, color in an adult-style coloring book. From houseplants to rock and roll, they exist everywhere these days. And I might add, don't skimp on the pens or markers that you get yourself, because I found that it is actually so much more enjoyable when you have pens that you love and that you enjoy and feel good in your hand. I'll put a link to my favorites in the show notes. The Letraset ProMarkers blend so well, and you don't see the individual lines. They are delicious to color with. Number 3, go on a walk. The only caveat here is that it should be fun, not drudgery. This is a happy thing, so maybe listen to a good fictional book or a positive podcast. Number 4, try that hobby you've been passively thinking about but haven't made a move on yet. Number 5, buy flowers from a farmer's market. Or if you like a minimal aesthetic like me, buy a bunch of eucalyptus instead. It's my favorite thing to have on my kitchen island. Number 6, cook a meal that you haven't tried before if you find pleasure in cooking. Did you know that you can get yourself a subscription to the New York Times cooking section only? Yes, I subscribe to just that section so I can be inspired without needing to proactively seek out inspiration like it's another thing to do on my list. Number 7, sit outside, maybe in a park you haven't visited before. Number 8, try a new coffee shop. Go there, sit, people watch without your phone in your hand. Number 9, take a bath with wonderful bubble bath or bath salt. Maybe the joy is stepping away to select and buy some bath salts and then actually taking the bath. Number 10, do a face mask. Number 11, window shop. I find this only works if you aren't supremely tempted to buy stuff you don't need or have room for. This works well if you want to spend time searching for just the right thing for a space and you aren't tempted to buy. I love looking for a specific piece of art, for example, that is in a set color range that could complement a specific area. This can take months, but the journey is the fun part. What about making a spot where you put your phone that is literally a timeout for your phone, like so it sits there on purpose as opposed to sitting next to you while you're doing one of these wonderfully fulfilling things on your dopamine list. It makes the temptation less if it lives in timeout. So every year, once a year, I make a really big deal out of my niece's birthday. She's my little creative spirit, and I'm in charge of making the dessert table in her chosen theme. And because I am who I am, I go all in. It's a giant production that I think about for months, plan for weeks, and spend several days executing that plan. I just shared this year's Taylor Swift theme party ideas on my TikTok and Instagram feeds, so if that interests you at all, come follow along. I know that's not my normal content, but for you folks planning parties, it might interest you. Last year's theme was mushrooms, and that's on my TikTok feed as well. The link is in the show notes. Thanks, my friend, for spending a few minutes with me today. Happiness comes as a result of pleasant experiences. Make yourself a dopamine menu and seek out joy.